Niall Hannigan is Masdar's CFO. He's with me now from London. It is interesting. Look, Masdar I'm well familiar with. You've been dealing with renewables. It's your raison d'etre. You've been at the forefront in many ways. So this significance of this bond, which will be diversified in terms of its distribution into other countries and developing nations, is what?
Well, I thank you, Richard, and good morning. I think for us, the key output from this green bond issuance is today we've now diversified even further the pool of funding that we are tapping into. This was the first time that Masdar, which has previously financed all of our projects through either non-recourse project financing from commercial banks or development financial institutions and through equity, it's the first time we've gone to the debt capital markets and we've reached out to the investment community to access capital. So by diversifying our pool of funds here, we're accessing greater amounts of capital, which will allow us to push forward in terms of our growth ambitions. And I think you'll probably be aware that, you know, with the new shareholders we brought into the company, we have an ambition to grow to over 100 gigawatts of gross renewable energy capacity by 2030 and 1,000 MTP
Right.
of green energy, green hydrogen production by 2030 as well.
The fascinating aspect, of course, is as we come to COP28, your chairman is the president of COP28. The chairman of the company is president of COP28. And it is this juxtaposition of fossil fuels with sustainable energy, the sort of thing Masdar's been doing, and the climate finance. Now, they always say to me, there's plenty of money for climate finance. And some people say climate finance is hard to finance. Which is it?
Look, I think there is plenty of money for climate finance, but there is challenges in getting that money into all of the geographies that necessarily require it. And I think that's one of the interesting things about our green bond issuance today. You know, we raised, as you mentioned, $750 million. The issuance itself was 5.6 times oversubscribed, with the order book peaking at 4.2 billion. Right. And 87.5% of the issuance has gone to international investors. That money itself is going to go towards new renewable energy projects, solar, wind and battery storage, a large number of which will be in developing economies and climate challenged countries. So what is happening is that capital is taking Masdar risk. It's not taking developing country risk. So this is a way we see as being able to access the wider investment community, these additional pools of capital, and use that money in the global south. Right.
But in the case of this bond, I mean, you talk about Masdar risk versus development risk. But what I think is interesting is people were investing in Masdar. You know, you have been around a while, and therefore your credibility is really what this is about. Where, you know, people are basically saying, hey, take the money, we trust you to do something that you say you're going to do, and the right amount of money will end up in the right project.
That's correct, and I think, but also a part of that is the fact that we are committed to transparency. So it's not just about take the money and we trust you. You know, we have put in place a green finance framework through which, and that guides where all of the proceeds from this green bond and hopefully from future green bond issuances. This is part of a $3 billion programme, as you mentioned, and as we grow our business, we plan to come to be a repeat issuer in the market. But it will be deployed in accordance with the Green Finance Framework, which has a second-party opinion from Moody's of SQS1, which is excellent. Ooh. It will also, on an annual basis, we will report. So we will report annually not only where the money is going, but also we will report annually on the ESG benefits that are deriving from the money as we deploy it. And we will independently audit that. So I think what we're giving is real transparency, so that investors know that every single dollar that they invest in the Masdar Green Bond will go to the darkest of green projects in generating new capacity.
Right, get your diary out. Get your diary out, your calendar out. 1 year from now, or whenever you report, make a note. You'll be back here to go through the numbers with me again, so we can see where the money's gone and what's happened to it.
I'll be delighted to. Delighted to.